He's a force on social media, he's a truth in the air. Mike Crawford's the name, and he's everywhere. From the highs to the lows, he's got the word. His show called The Young Jerks, haven't you heard? The Young Jerks bringing heat to the mic. He's sharp, he's bold, he's always right. With the fire in his eyes and the truth in his veins, Mike Crawford's here to shake the game. Clickbait! He's not just talk, he's a force to be known. With the passion and drive that he's always shown. Cutting through the noise, making it clear. When Mike Crawford speaks, the people cheer. The Young Jerks bringing heat to the mic. He's sharp, he's bold, he's always right. With the fire in his eyes and the truth in his veins, Mike Crawford's here to shake the game. From the grind to the shine, he's stacking respect. Got his mind on the money, what you expect. In the game deep, like a boss with clout. Speak the truth loud, ain't no doubt.
Let's bring him up right
Jerks. Yeah, he runs these streets, dropping heavy bars over dirty beats, ain't no fake, nah. He's the real deal, Mike Crawford, man, he's keeping it real. Enemies lurk, but he stays on point. Mike Crawford, Young Jerks, he's taking the joint. So step up, listen close, this is how it goes. Mike Crawford, Young Jerks, running the shows. Ain't no stopping now, he's on that grind. Get with it, or get left behind. So tune in, get ready, it's about to ignite. The Young Jerks is here, and he's bringing the light. With every word, he's making his mark. Mike Crawford's name, it's the spark in the dark.
Exciting last night. Pretty crazy. I couldn't get in my studio last night. We got what you need tonight.
He's a force on social media, he's a truth in the air. Mike Crawford's the name, and he's everywhere. From the highs to the lows, he's got the word. His show called The Young Jerks, haven't you heard? The Young Jerks bringing heat to the mic. He's sharp, he's bold, he's always right. With the fire in his eyes and the truth in his veins, Mike Crawford's here to shake the game. Clickbait! He's not just talk, he's a force to be known. With the passion and drive that he's always shown. Cutting through the noise, making it clear. When Mike Crawford
We all set?
Oh, good here.
Almost second.
Oh,
Okay. Thank you, Louis. Good evening and welcome to the Select Board meeting of August 20th, 2024 at 7 p.m. It's a virtual meeting via Zoom. One of the first on the agenda we have is our public comment. Prior to public comment, I would like to state one thing. As the public comment starts, we will see who's raised their hand for public comment. I will be taking them in order as they are raised. Also that with the public comment, if you would just put your full name, no just single names or derogatory names or whatever, because we will not be able to handle those. With that said, I would like to read the public comment portion of this meeting is an opportunity to listen to residents' feedbacks and concerns, but the public comment portion of the meeting is not meant to be a question and answer format. There'll be no response to any public comment when presented. The public comment portion of the meeting is limited to 15 minutes total and 3 minutes per speaker. I would encourage those that do not wish to speak to be mindful of others in the room who wish to do the same, so that we can make the most of the time allotted and hear from as many people as possible. Anyone who does not wish to speak, who is unable to speak due to the time limit, may submit their comments in writing for the board's review and consideration. One more thing, the chair, Mike Laughlin's on vacation this week. I will be chairing this meeting. Also, our town administrator, Charlie Duty, is also on vacation, and Jen, our assistant town administrator, Jen Chameleon, will be taking his place tonight. Welcome, Jen.
Thank you.
With that said, I will start the public comment now. So if I get the list of who's raised their hand first, we will start with Brenda Sweeney. Brenda, can you hear me?
She has to unmute.
Okay, yep, you're mute.
Hello?
Okay, I think we got you, Brenda.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Brenda Sweeney, Canton resident. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. My very own Paul Revere is a great American patriot that made Canton his summer home, a place he affectionately referred to as Canton Dale. In 1773, he was part of the protest against taxation without representation known as the Boston Tea Party. In 1775, he rode out to alert his countrymen the Redcoats were coming. Because of that midnight ride, the Minutemen were ready on the Lexington Green for the historic battle that launched the War of Independence. Paul Revere established a copper rolling mill on the banks of the Neponset River here in Canton. It's ironic, the very place he loved to summer with his family, once the very thing he fought against, taxation without representation. You've named yourself Canton First. To you, that means anyone with a long generational family history in Canton and connections to a certain family is Canton royalty. You act with impunity like you own the town and deserve special treatment. The rest of us are second-class citizens. Well, when you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. Our forefathers signed the Declaration of Independence and went on to kick the king to the curb. There is no royalty in this country. Some people in this town have other reasons to remain silent. One, there is a real concern for the safety of their family due to ever-present bullying and harassment. We recognize that safety is a priority. Two, Canton royalty dangles Turtle Boy rhetoric. Oh no, Turtle Boy is controlling them. Their secret weapon is to taunt them with Turtle Boy. Making this town healthy again does not include Turtle Boy. He's not coming to town to take over. They're trying to use Turtle Boy to spin the narrative. Ignore the rhetoric. Amazing, isn't it, that Paul Revere wouldn't have qualified as a Canton First citizen? He would be turning over in his grave right now if he saw this rampant abuse of power and corruption in the very town he loved and fought to make free. The rest of the citizens of this town would much rather stand tall on the banks of the Neponset River beside people of Paul Revere's caliber. It's time for you Canton First citizens to take your blinders off. You don't live in Mayberry. What you have is an illusion. Open your minds, your eyes, and your heart to all the citizens of this town. Start acting like true patriotic American citizens who will stand for truth and justice for all, just like our very own Paul Revere. Until you do, there will never be peace and quiet in this town. We want to make Canton whole, a place that doesn't cater to one elite group at the expense of the rest. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Stop acting with impunity and start honoring that pledge, because you have no honor if you're acting with impunity, no matter how privileged you think you are. It's time for honor, decency, and respect to return to this town. Impunity versus honor. Choose wisely. The world is watching. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. The next up would be Susan Carlson.
Hi. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we have you. Go right ahead.
Okay, great. Hi, I'm Susan Carlson, Canton resident. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I just would like to urge the board to restore public comment. Actually to restore the select board meetings back to live and in person. It really makes a huge difference. We can't all see each other in this. It's an important thing that happens in public comment. And we've had it officially in place for what, I think less than a year. So I just want to say, I think we all know there have been some disruptions lately during the public comment period. And, it's unfortunate that those have happened, but I think that we can't let that deter us from meeting live and in person. It's important that we can see each other's faces. It's important that we listen to one another. It's important that we all consider what, the different viewpoints are. And, I think that it's incumbent upon the town to make these meetings open. But I also think that, we have a responsibility as the citizens and the residents to sort of, behave appropriately during these meetings. And, sometimes people got a little hot under the collar and things were said, and maybe people went over the time limit, and unfortunately that's happened. But I don't think that that is a significant enough reason to you know move to just having meetings over Zoom. I think the public comment period is really important. I think these dialogues are really important. I think it's really important that everybody has a chance to speak, and that we don't abuse the privilege, but that we also don't take away um, the privilege or the rights of the townspeople to speak. I mean, this is supposed to be a process of engagement where the select board, you guys, you work for the town, and we are the town. So there needs to be open communication, and there needs to be trust and respect and consideration. And I thank you for hearing my comment, and I hope that you will weigh it very seriously over the next week or so. And I hope that we will be moving back to live sessions. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Susan. Next up, we would have Rita Lombardi.
She's on mute.
Yep.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Rita, you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, go right ahead.
Okay. I want to provide an update on my lawn, and I just want to speak about in general. Over the course of the last year and a half, there have been well over 30 incidents of violence against peaceful citizens here in Canton who dare to speak out in support of truth, justice, and accountability. I was personally involved in 2 of these. On October 4th, 2023, myself and 3 other women received letters mailed to us via U.S. mail. Among other hateful and vitriol rhetoric, the authors threatened to spread falsehoods about us and our families and friends in a desperate effort to silence us. I quote, "Desperate people do desperate things," is what the letter said. Quote, "True or false, once it is on the internet, it is true." Unquote. Quote, if you want to run for office, do so, but do not try to overthrow an elected official." End quote. It is important to note that October 4th, 2023, the same day that we got the threatening letters in the mail, it was also the first day that we could recall as citizens a recall against Chris Albert, who had just been recently elected to the select board. The letters bore similar language used in a failed harassment prevention order against Aidan Kearney just days prior in Stoughton District Court. Of the 4 women who received the threatening letter, only one was willing to turn hers over to the Canton Police Department for investigation. I was not willing to give them my letter, and neither were the other 2 women, because we lacked confidence in their ability to properly investigate. The letters were sent to silence courageous women who dared to use their voices and stand up for truth, justice, and accountability from our leaders. Once again, in early July of 2024, just 6 weeks ago, in another attempt to silence peaceful citizens, the lawns and gardens of 3 peaceful and outspoken citizens were dumped with very toxic chemicals that destroyed the lawn and destroyed a beautiful flower garden and vegetable garden, vegetables that the Sweeneys would grow every year to share with their neighbors. The timing of this terrorist attack on our properties was just after Judge Beverly Cannon, also known as Auntie Bev to Sean McCabe, she declared a mistrial. And the timing of that is no coincidence. It is important to know that when the 3 of us had our properties attacked, we found out from another neighbor that the discarded bag of the water balloons, they're not water balloons, but balloons filled with liquid, was halfway walking distance between my house and the Sweeneys, Oakdale and Kings Road. When we went, we discovered the bag, and Canton police came and retrieved the bag, and the bag still had 2 fully balloons that were still in them with liquid. The Canton police had them sent to Plymouth and tested. It came back. We thought it was bleach. It came back with even more toxic chemical. It was SimClean 50 with Fuchs Specialnet and drum cleaner. This is industrial strength cleaner, and it is very toxic. It's used in a manufacturing and metalworking industries, industries of metal and repair, chemical processing and refining, heavy equipment and machinery manufacturers, industrial cleaning, logistics storing. This is heavy duty toxic stuff. I thank God that we found that bag before children found that bag. If children, and we all know that that is a huge high foot traffic area. Children walk to school, they play, they ride their bikes, parents, everybody walks that area. If children got a hold of that bag and thought that those were water balloons and threw them at each other or threw them at someone, somebody could have been seriously hurt. This is what this town has come to. Peaceful people are being terrorized in our own town for speaking the truth. It's important to note that the truth that we've been speaking, standing up for Karen Reed and demanding accountability from our select board, Karen Reed was exonerated of charges 1 and 3. And charge 2 is the one that was a mistrial. Judge Beverly Canone needs to weigh in and make a decision on the appeal that Karen's attorney put forward. And if she doesn't do the right thing, it will go to the appeals court. Karen Reed is innocent. The peaceful protesters were right. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. We have time for, I believe, 2 more. The next one is Clyde Ducksworth. I'm waiting for you to be unmuted.
You have to unmute.
Clyde, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening. Go right ahead.
Yes, this select board yet again conducting another virtual meeting is an absolute atrocity. It's an embarrassment and a very bad look for all of you. It is quite simply not a respectable move. You are hiding from your tax-paying citizens. You are elected officials and should be holding in-person meetings before the townspeople. They have real concerns and deserve to be heard publicly. They elected you. You already have low credibility in the eyes of many of the citizens. Regain some of it by reinstating in-person meetings. I've seen better select boards, but not many. Thank you.
Thank you, Clyde. And we have time for one more. Lisa Colburn.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we have you. Go right ahead.
Awesome. I'm just commenting tonight, echoing what Susan Carlson had mentioned and urging the select board to return to in-person meetings. We're no longer in a COVID era, which was intended for emergencies. And this setup is not only increasing lack of transparency and accountability, but also it's disenfranchising the residents who don't have tech savvy or a comfort level with a Zoom setup. It's the opposite of community. And I'm not just talking about public comment, but people's ability to be part of the civic engagement related to agenda items. And now that the summer is coming to a close, I urge you to be in person again. It's really not acceptable to hide behind Zoom meetings. That's it.
Thank you very much. That'll conclude our public comment session, and we'll go back to the agenda items. Before we do that, I just wanted to make sure, and I wanted to double check that I told everybody that this Zoom meeting is being recorded, and it will be available on Canton Community TV later for viewing. So it is being recorded. With that said, Mr. Albert, what's
So first on the agenda tonight is Christine Meany is going to hear, who's going to talk about the stormwater utility fee presentation.
Very
Christine?
good. Is Christine with us?
I am. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You can go
Okay.
right ahead with your presentation.
Okay. And you can see the screen okay?
Yep.
Okay. Hi, I'm Christine Meany, the town's stormwater manager, and I'm here. Mike Trott is also here, the DPW director. I'm here to give a presentation on the town's stormwater system. So what is stormwater? Stormwater or stormwater runoff is untreated water from rainfall or melting snow that does not seep into the ground, but instead flows overland to the street and into our town storm drainage system. Why are we concerned about stormwater? First, we're concerned about flooding. A well-maintained storm drainage infrastructure prevents flooding, ensures our roadways are drivable, promotes public safety, and protects properties. The town strives to provide well-drained, safe roadways, clean catch basins and storm drains, and structurally safe and effectively operated dams. We're also concerned about stormwater pollution. Stormwater runoff picks up litter, sand, bacteria, oil, and other pollutants as it travels over impervious surfaces such as roads, parking lots, and driveways.
Welcome, jerks. I think I've had enough of that tonight. I see our first guest is already here, and I think we got what we wanted, the public comment period tonight. Rita Lombardi and that guy Clyde. Did you hear that guy Clyde? That was interesting. We got a couple guests here that hopefully going to be calling in tonight, and maybe some show announcements, something going on Thursday night. It's an exciting time. And the Canton Select Board, WCVB, just put out an editorial from WCVB. Let me say that again. WCVB, Channel 5, who has Greg Henning as their legal analyst, who is Brian Albert's attorney. WCVB, who definitely has been the outlet that is probably anti-Karen Reed. They put out a editorial video recently, this week, basically calling out the Canton Select Board about these Zoom meetings. Tonight, we're going to talk about that. We may talk about some other things about the police audit in Canton. We have one of the guests already here, so let's bring him up. Canton, former retired Canton police officer, Peter Murphy. Let's bring him up and see what he thinks about what's going on in Canton tonight. What's up, Peter Murphy?
Hey, good evening. Good to see you. Good evening, the audience. Hope everybody's well.
Good. I'm wondering if John Como is going to be here, because you were there for last select board, one of the last select board meetings with John Como, right?
That's correct. We were there doing an actual outside event.
A protest outside of the chairman's house.
That's correct. Yes.
With Michael Loughran, right?
Yes, exactly, Mike. Yeah. Yeah. We were there for probably a good 45 minutes to an hour. A news cam came by, videotaped some of it. And I believe John just delivered another one of his many comments in a very emphatic way.
Tonight, yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I gotta look it up and find it. Where I heard it might not have been Loughran's house this time. I heard it might be Conley's house. Is that right?
I believe it was going to start at the town hall. Whether it's going to migrate about a mile north to Conley's house, I'm not sure. But my understanding was it was going to start at the town hall, and it was going to be very, very interesting. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. It might be live on another feed. I don't know.
Maybe Turtle Boy. I heard rumors Turtle Boy might be involved tonight. I heard he was on vacation. I was talking to him a couple days ago. He told me he was on vacation, but maybe he's not tonight. I don't know. Maybe it's a secret thing. I don't know. If there's rumors going around, I didn't reach out to John Como in time. I send him the link for the show. He may call in, but if he's got Turtle Boy and he blows us off tonight, that's fine. If he makes the big time, but either way, we'll keep track. We'll look for John Como tonight, see what he's up to. We're expecting Rita Lombardi to call in too tonight. She just spoke.
Yes.
Did you hear the public comment? Did you just hear the speeches there?
Yeah, I jumped in on another stream and heard that it was Rita, it was Liza Colburn, was very active in the campaign. And I also heard a woman named last name was Carlson. I'm not sure of her first name, but she spoke very well. They all did their 3-minute stint.
Yeah, and she was like more, you could see maybe more moderate about the whole thing, but her big thing was just like WCBB. This is like everybody is going to be 98%, 99%. You got to have in-person meetings. This is
Right.
ridiculous. Like that was her big thing. The Carlson lady, who I thought she spoke very well. I liked her.
I did
I
too.
liked them all. I thought they all did great. And there was
Yeah.
a guy named Clyde that called in. Did you catch Clyde?
I did catch Clyde Ducksworth.
Oh, was it Clyde Duckworth? Was that the last I missed that? Duckworth.
Yeah, it was Clyde Ducksworth, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
I'm gonna
until-
play that back because I want to see how he actually said. Was it Clyde Duckworth or Ducksworth?
I'm not 100% sure if it had an S in it, but
Because that's probably his real name. I don't even know his real name. He told me his name was Mark, but I don't know. I mean,
well, I'm
maybe
going to
it's
suggest
Clyde Ducksworth.
I'm going to suggest to you that somebody as astute as you are with your skill set on determining whose voices these are that are.
Oh, I know whose voice it was. I'm just trying to figure out what his real name is. I don't even know. That could be his real name. He told me it was first name was Mark.
Okay.
I don't think it's Mark Mazza, actually. I think it might be something else. But, now he's saying Clyde Ducksworth. Maybe that's the real name.
The jury is sequestered. My lips are sealed.
I mean, I recognize that voice from Go. I mean, I knew that voice was coming when they said the name. Like when they said, I was like, "Oh, here he comes. This is my guy. This is my boy." Oh, let my hair get my. I'm just that was funny as hell. It was only like 30 seconds to like 20. I don't even remember. Maybe it was 10 seconds. I was so quick. He just threw it out there. He was like, boom, boom, boom.
Brief, concise, to the point.
It's exactly what you want to. He made his point. He's got a sound clip. He's definitely. I guarantee you that's going to be an X before the show is over. Very exciting tonight. What do you think about this select board continuing to do these Zoom meetings instead of actually having in-person select board meetings?
I think in sync with the other comments that we just heard on the 3-minute comment Zoom in period. I agree with them, and I have felt it was an oversight on the select board to negate the in-person. And as was stated, there were some disruptions in the meetings. I think perhaps if the select board had established a better control of the community, maybe back in January 29th, 22, things would be a lot smoother. We might not even be having this conversation right now. But there's the audit issue that's coming up. That's going to be in, I believe, by September 30th. The RFP. They have to start to make a decision then. But just speaking to the question you asked, I'm very disappointed that the Board of Selectmen would take this position and shut down the comment period. They could have come up with a better reason to allow it and just put in some guidelines that would have kept perhaps more order or something along those lines. I don't really think that any of the participants, citizens or non-citizens that stood up or have voiced their concerns over the period of time that we've been doing this at these meetings and filling the room at the town hall. I don't think for the most part there's anybody that went way beyond the four corners of the page as far as their behavior. There were a couple of times that they had to be spoken to, and they calmed down and they took their seat. And the last incident was, I think, preventable. And if anybody didn't see it, there was I believe a retired Boston police officer who evidently, for want of a better word, drew the short straw that night. And he was the detail officer. I didn't recognize him. I'd never seen him before. My understanding, he could be a special police officer with police powers. And he took it upon himself, I guess at the direction of the select board, to physically engage Jen O'Donnell for speaking beyond her 3 minutes. And my understanding from what I've heard, that could have repercussions.
Yeah, I mean, that was just really unfortunate. And the thing is, nobody's been arrested. Like, there's really nothing that's happened beyond that little thing where the cop actually laid hands on somebody where he shouldn't have, which is ridiculous. Let's talk about some other things too, but with Rita Lombardi, because she's in the green room. But before I do that, I want to ask you this question and then go to Rita with this question, because you're Canton residents. Have you heard any feedback from the rest of, you're a Canton resident, longtime Canton resident, former police officer with Canton, about them doing the Zoom meetings? What's the feeling in town among other citizens? Do they even talk about this? Do they see what's going on, and how do they feel?
Okay, I just want to mention one thing. I am no longer a Canton resident. I no longer live in the community. I participate in a lot of the activity in the community. I was a police officer in the community for over 3 decades total, and my children were raised in the town. I was on the youth commission back in the 70s and special police officer. And so I have a lot of contacts in the town. I played town club softball, over 30 skating league, men's league. I still have a lot of contacts in the town. And I have the consensus that I can relate to you is that the Zoom definitely needs to be restored. People need to have the select board restore accountability and transparency. And I think the word was used earlier, they're disconnected and disenfranchised from the community. And it's only making it worse. People need to be brought together. They need to see that there's a common thread that's bringing them into the sallow room at the town hall. And I think they need to stand shoulder to shoulder. They can agree to disagree on many things, but at least they can come together as a community. And that's what the town select board is preventing from happening. They're further splintering the town, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And we're going to hear from Rita Lombardi now, who was also there tonight on the Zoom select board public comment. We just heard her. Let's see what she's got to say about this.
Sure.
Hey,
Hey, Rita.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good.
Hi, Rita.
Yeah, it's disappointing. It's disappointing. We lack leadership in this town, and we lack guts. I'm one who I just had my lawn. They're terrorizing me. They're terrorizing me. I got the threatening letter in October. I still moved forward. I got my lawn, and they threw that highly toxic industrial strength chemical liquid all over my lawn, and I'm still going out. So if I can be terrorized and still move forward about my regular business, then so can the select board. Have some guts, stand up, do your job, and it is embarrassing. To have them retreat, from meeting with the citizens. It's embarrassing. Jen O'Donnell did not create that situation. She went over 15 seconds. But what the people don't know, and I'm sure the select board knows, is that the Canton First, the entitled townies, not all townies feel entitled, but the Canton First people, they're entitled, and they went to that last in-person meeting for the sole purpose of wreaking havoc and disrupting it. And that's what they did. And people couldn't see what they were doing behind the scenes, but they were heckling and harassing Jen. And they were doing the same thing to me. And, that cop, we found out he's worked out the details. We don't know him. We haven't seen him. But he's incompetent. I mean, anyone who did what he did does not belong in that position. Absolutely does not belong. And that is a failure of Chief Helena Rafferty.
Yeah, they picked the wrong,
Her
they picked
date.
absolutely the wrong person in a high profile situation with all these cameras watching, thousands of people watching you. And
Yes.
this is the guy you choose to handle it. Like, just really inappropriate. And
Yep.
you could, you know what? I know that we didn't, it's hard to hear everything that's going on in that room when we're watching it at
It
home,
is.
but you could still feel, you felt the tension that night. And it was because there's only one reason, because those
Yes.
McAlberts were there.
That's right. And even the lead prosecutor's mother was on Facebook telling everybody to go to the meeting, to disrupt it. You know, so they went there with the intent to wreak havoc and make it look like us. That's what they always do. They project. They have said for over a year that they're harassed. They cannot give one single piece of evidence. I have a list of over 30 incidents of violence against us peaceful people who just, you know, supporting people. And it's very scary. I mean, you look at some of the things that they have done to people. You know, General Donald, she's got 11 items on that list, 11 items for one individual to silence her. And people say, oh, you know, she looks a little shaken up there. Well, you would too if you had 11 acts of violence against you to terrorize you. And still, Jen O'Donnell gets up there and uses her voice and speaks. So when someone can go up there and have the courage that Jen O'Donnell has, in spite of everything, then they can speak and criticize. But they can't do it if they haven't walked in her shoes. That's my feeling.
Well said.
Absolutely.
Well
What do you
said.
got, Peter? Go ahead.
No, I concur 100% that, as I said earlier, when you and I were talking before Rita came in, there's been no aggressive actions by anybody in the Karen Reed side. And the Jen O'Donnell was totally unnecessary, that incident. She was not that far out of line. She, as Rita said, she went 15 seconds over or something like that. And she could have concluded probably in another 5. It just, and I think it just goes to show that I've made this comment before on your show, Mike, with you and other shows, that on the morning of January 29th, 22, when I was working, the protocol would have been for serious incidents to go right up to the top, the police chief, from the sergeant or whoever was working the shift, notify the police chief right away. And it was my understanding that from there, he or she, at the time it was he, would call the select board chairperson or maybe who was ever on call for the weekend and advise them and appraise them of what was going on so that they knew. I mean, because they are the elected officials, senior and most accountable officials of the town of Canton, and they are responsible for ensuring public safety and for appointing department heads, to wit, the chief of police. And I would love to know, I would love to see the phone records of the select board members to see when they first got a call from either the police station or a cell phone of one of the command staff members, because they should have been notified right away. They should have been notified at 6:05 in the morning, as soon as the 911 call came in. And in my opinion, there should have been a total recall of every police officer on that department. Get down here as fast as you can to the police department. We'll stage here and we'll just disperse people further. That never happened. And again, I believe the select board have sat on their hands and they've hidden behind the curtain for 2.5 years, stating that, oh, we can't talk about it. You know, our lawyers say we can't. It's an ongoing investigation. Well, we'll see. We'll see how ongoing it is when it lands in their lap.
Boom.
And it's not even ongoing. Karen Reed was exonerated of murder too and leaving the scene. She was exonerated. The judge just hasn't recorded those verdicts. Those are verdicts. She cannot that's double jeopardy. You know, if she tries her again. And every American knows that. So let's get it straight. Karen Reed is not guilty of second-degree murder and leaving the scene, of a crime. And Karen Reed is not guilty of manslaughter. There was a 6 and 6. The defense had their hands handcuffed, and they couldn't present evidence that they wanted to. So they had to do it in a different way. And the jury didn't understand what they were trying to present. And so it was 6 and 6. And then when they got the Tui Rodriguez, and then 3 people felt bullied into shifting over to guilty, which left it 9 and 3. At the end of the day, that's not a guilty verdict. And when they try this again, if they try this again in this Commonwealth, we should stand up on the rooftops and say, no, we do not want our money spent this way. This is ridiculous. It's a colossal waste of taxpayers' money. She is innocent. And let's move on from this joke of a trial that has wreaked havoc in this town and all over the place.
Yeah, I like this comment right here. It's a good idea. Maybe all of you, like Jennifer and you, Rita, especially the people that have had incidents happen to them, have
Yes.
like a press conference.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad somebody mentioned that, because I am going to, do you want me to talk about the lawn and the chemicals that were on the lawn?
Yeah.
So we thought initially, Dennis Sweeney thought that it smelled like bleach. He knew it smelled toxic. He just didn't, he thought it was bleach. I mean, we don't know about industrial products. We're not going to recognize the smell of an industrial product. These are businesses. It's a small population. By the way, thank you, people, for using not a household product, because now you've narrowed the suspect population to who uses this, product. And so we don't know. So we thought, but we found the source balloon, and one of the balloons on my property never popped. And so we had those 3 balloons, and they were tested, and they came back with that chemical, which is SimClean 50 and Fuchs something else and a drum cleaner, highly toxic. And so Helena Rafferty, Chief Rafferty, sent me, she sent Brenda, myself, and Jen the results of the balloon with the data sheet from the manufacturer. And she wants me to turn over my October 4th letter. I will not turn it over. And I have repeatedly said I will not turn it over. I do not trust the Canton Police Department, which is why 3 of us out of 4 of us would not turn it over last fall. When we heard, that they're using red Solo cups and leaf blowers, and they're not following policies and procedures, they're just kind of winging it. We're not going to turn over something significant as a threatening letter, which I believe has fingerprints on it, to a department that operates with such substandard procedures. We're not going to do it. And so she emailed me with the results, and she implored me to turn over my threatening letter. And I said no. And I said, I am not confident that turning it over, I have a difficult time turning over the letter when evidence in the Karen Reed trial showed that 42 minutes were missing from the the Canton Police Sally Port surveillance video. 42 minutes were missing. The film was inverted. The timestamp was removed and replaced. And people were appearing and disappearing. I said, I have difficulty turning this over when I saw this evidence into court. And she came back to me and believed that my perceptions were erroneous, and suggested that I communicate with Lewis, the IT director at the town hall. And so I sent him an email, and I screenshotted her email recommending that I speak to him. And I said, listen, she says that you can provide me satisfactory explanation for my erroneous perceptions. So here's my perceptions, and I'd love to see your written response to these. And so she came back to me looking to see if I was going to turn over my letter, because the vape pen they're going to send out for DNA on August 30th. And I let her know that I said something to Lewis, however you say his last name. You probably know, Peter, how to say his last name.
Justress.
Jutras.
Yeah, Jutras.
Jutras.
Yes. And, he's the same one that had the library tape with 2 minutes missing. And so, but listen, if he can give me in writing satisfactory explanation of what we saw as evidence that was grossly distorted from reality, I'll consider giving the Canton Police Department that letter. But until then, I'm not going to do it, because I know that there's a high likelihood that there are fingerprints on this, and there's DNA on this. And I'm not going to give it to them. And it's someplace not here, somewhere else in a safe place, and it will get turned over at the appropriate time to the appropriate authorities. And I was told by the FBI last fall that the authors, and there's more than one author, there's more, you can tell by the way this letter was written, there's more than one author. And you can tell that I just lost my thought, but they I don't know what I was saying, but anyways, there were more than one author, and they're trying to silence us, and I'm not giving it to them. I do believe that there is evidence on those letters that will one day hold someone accountable. And until an authority comes forward that I am comfortable with, I'm not turning them over. And the FBI said to me, I know what I was going to say. The FBI told me that the authors of the letter knew how far to take it so that it wouldn't get to FBI level. And so that's the problem. They didn't threaten bodily harm. They threatened to tell lies about our families.
Yeah. They threatened to do gossip and other evil,
desperate time,
nasty, bad girlfriend type stuff.
Desperate people do desperate things. And, you asked for this and all those kinds of things.
Trying to scare you. Just being a scumbag.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a lot about other topics tonight, including the police audit, the RFP thing. But before we get there, I also want to talk about Michael Morrissey. He just did a fundraiser, and John Conley apparently was there giving him money. And this Twitter user that I've been following, she did a video. I think it's a TikTok or something like that, but it was on Twitter X. I saw the video, and it was basically about Michael Morrissey and his fundraising and the drinking and driving that goes on at these events. And it's so true. Like, I've been to so many campaign events in my life, and they're all about drinking and giving money and, taking a picture with a politician. It's like, they're really kind of gross things. And the fact that he's doing one right now, like he just did one, it's like, why is he even doing these? I want to bring her up. She also has been looking at the campaign contributions. So I want to talk about him for a second. Let's bring her up. Her name's, she goes by Boozy Beauty, right?
That's it. Hi, everyone.
How you doing?
I'm kind of fangirling right now. I'm not lying. I feel like this is wild. I watch all you guys secretly. So hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I was actually somewhat bullied to make a Twitter. I'm mainly on TikTok. So, do we want to talk about what happened on Thursday?
Yeah, was that the fundraiser party?
That was the fundraiser. By the way, I hope you guys enjoy my sign. That's what I was holding up when I went there. So you may you may recognize me from the sign.
I love it.
It's fun, right? We got the ducks going because why not?
Yes, I love it.
Okay. So, being very close to the area of Quincy, I know obviously a lot of people from the area, and that means I knew now a few people have spoken to me that were on the inside. So I'm just going to say allegedly for entertainment purposes only, in order just to clear my butt for a second. It was, from what I've been told, it was a very nice and lovely time. They had a nice, lovely dinner, and of course, an open bar, which obviously Morrissey's campaign is funding. And more than one politician partook in some obviously open barness. Names that I was told was Michael Morrissey, as well as John Conley, as well as a certain Mass State police officer by the name of Kathleen Prince that took the original statement from Jennifer McCabe. And of note, another important name that was there was Bill Gavin as well. And if you don't know who Bill Gavin is, he is the Secretary of the Commonwealth. And I have heard some, especially around in my comments, why can't we get these people out of office? Why is this so difficult? Well, the recall office, the recall process in Massachusetts, it's not as easy as some other states, unfortunately. And we would have to go through Bill Gavin in order for all of this to be put through. So that in itself is an issue when we not only have Mass State police officers who are under heat right now, the main person that we would have to go to is also not only supporting Morrissey, but also funding his campaign. It's a big problem. It's Massachusetts is a mess right now. We'll just say that.
And the same thing at Canton.
really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. And there also was a Canton police officer too by the name of Scott Lanhart there as well. So, yeah.
It's funny how it's okay for Morrissey to have a few drinks and drive home, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. And I personally, because I got there later, I personally saw him pull out, and he was driving his gray SUV, probably the state-owned one. And he was driving. So you can't deny that.
And do you know how much money he has in his campaign account right now?
So I'm looking at what he made just on Thursday. It was just shy of 17,000 just for Thursday. And I can pull up the actual number. Hang on one second.
It's amazing. He's still collecting money.
So as of the last report, which came through on July 31st, he had $443,736 and some change in his campaign.
So he's got $433,000. He's had no opponents ever.
Nope.
And he may not run again. I don't think he's going to run again. If I had to bet, I would say he's not running again. But you never know, because this guy is cooked.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
why does he even need to do a fundraiser event? It's like especially right now, it's so tone deaf.
It's not appropriate. In my opinion, it's not appropriate. It's not appropriate for him to be doing it. It's not appropriate for Mass State Police to be there or Canton Police. It's not. They can do, technically, it's not against the law for the officers to support them as long as they're not on duty and they're not in, their uniforms. However, in this, what's going on in the public opinion, it's not the best. I don't understand. In John Conley, I don't understand why they would want to go to this. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, Rita, you want to comment on any of that? Your Canton police officers and Conley being there?
I think that they're too emboldened. I think they're too embedded. And I think that, I don't know, I think it's insane. I mean, I think it's insane. Any logical person would have, I don't know. I mean, it blows my mind, but then it does. We've seen this in the trial. We've seen this with Auntie Beth. No matter what the defense was for, the truth, she put it and denied it, and that they're denying reality, and that's what they're doing.
Excellent. I think we're getting a little broken audio from Rita, so
Right.
I would just try to leave and come back, Rita. See if that works, and if it doesn't, maybe turn off the video and just go audio only. Sometimes that helps too.
Let me
So
go
let's
out
try-
and come back.
Yeah. And Peter, what do you think?
I happened to be at that standout in Quincy last Thursday. I was standing on the side of the private driveway that goes up to the venue. I think I saw you on the other side. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I came later on too. I had to leave and go back.
Okay. All right. Yeah, the weather wasn't really great. Twice the skies opened up and the lightning was a little bit menacing, but I'd say there were a good 75 to 100 people there, closer to 100. And I was there. Paul Cristoforo was there. Aiden Kearney was there. I don't know if he had a live stream going at one point, but and then there were just a lot of 75 or 100 people. And I saw the tail end of John Conley's car going into the parking lot up the street. I didn't see him in it. And then I left. I had to leave a little bit early before the venue broke up. But the officer that you mentioned, Scott Lenhart, my understanding, he has since retired. He is not an active police officer at this point. I believe his retirement has gone through, and that's why and Edward Lehan is the prosecutor right now. Lenhart had been the prosecutor for a number of years. So just as a point of clarity on him. But yeah, I don't know. As you said, Morrissey's run unopposed for umpty 9 years, and his next campaign is not for another 2 years. I guess, what would you like to call it? I saw it somewhere. I don't know if Howie Carr quoted it as a cash grab. I don't know. You can label it however you want, but it was a good group. We stood there in the rain. They were a bunch of people, and they ain't got no quit.
Yeah, they sure don't. Rita, I wonder if you're any better. Your audio, let's test it out.
Is my audio better?
Yes, I think it is.
Oh, good. I shut everything down.
Perfect. So I guess Boozy Beauty, do you have any final thoughts on Morrissey? Anything else you wanted to raise? I just like that you focused. I like your TikTok, and definitely promote yourself and tell us like how we can follow, because people are already asking. Some people already know you. Some people are like, I know she's familiar. So tell people where they can find you too. And anything else you want to bring up about Morrissey tonight?
Man, I'm the loudmouth on TikTok. Sorry. So it's still the same name, Boozy Beauty on TikTok. I just recently started that Twitter, and I secretly started a YouTube. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. YouTube makes me nervous. So something I didn't get to touch upon too, at the fundraiser for Mike Morrissey, he did do a little speech, of course, thanking all the people that were there. And he did mention that he was quoted saying that they unexpectedly had a lower turnout because of the weather. So there's that.
Yeah, it's a lower turnout than usual. I couldn't be any other reason.
No other reasons, right?
No reality or truth from Michael Morrissey ever.
No, he lives in Delululand.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for pointing it out. I love your videos. I follow you on Twitter. I'm a little like you said, you're a little scared of YouTube. I'm a little scared of TikTok, honestly.
That's
I
fair.
have a TikTok, but I don't use it much, or Instagram too. They're for, I feel like that's harder to do than YouTube. I don't know about you, but
Really?
yeah. So I think if you could do TikTok, you could do it anywhere. That's my thing.
It's true. And it's nice and short,
Yeah.
What's going to happen at the end of the year when there's no more TikTok?
Yeah, there'll be a TikTok. They'll buy somebody off. Unless, you know what? Meta really doesn't want TikTok. That's the real.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe TikTok will go away. But I want to thank you so much for being here tonight. Boozy Beauty, follow her on Twitter, X, and TikTok.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Have a
Bye.
great
Great night.
Bye-bye.
That was good. We got just a little bit on Morrissey, someone who's been going through, just everything, doing some reporting on it. I like it. I should have asked her actually a little more why she got so focused on Morrissey, because I like that. Like I don't see enough people talking about Morrissey sometimes. It's like he should be the one we're after every day. So I really appreciated her coverage that she's doing on Twitter. Follow her, X. Let's talk about the police audit. There's a police audit, and you said the word RFP. I know what that is from my financial advising days. That's a request for, usually request for proposal. It's like, we want something from you. We want people to bid on this. What is an RFP? What's going on with the police audit?
Okay, so I actually have a little summary here for you. So the request for proposal, it's out there now. It's in the comms buy system, which is the system in which the municipal bids go out to. And it's a request for proposal for consulting services for the audit of policy and procedure and compliance to and government of the Canton Police Department. So we need anyone in the audience, please share this video, share this with anybody you know. We are looking for as many people to bid on this, as many firms to bid on this, so that we have a nice broad selection. So it's in comms buy from 8/15 to September 30th, but it has some tight deadlines, and it also has some key things that have to be hit on, or the bid will get rejected. So the objective is the community is interested in what the department is doing well, and more importantly, what the department could improve upon. The anticipated milestones, the last day for people to submit questions regarding this RFP is September 13th, and proposals are due September 30th. And then the committee is going to rank them by October 11th. So they'll take 2 weeks to rank them. And then they'll do interviews the week afterwards. And then they're going to look at the price proposals, and they're going to make a decision and kick off the meeting with the audit team that they choose on November 4th. That is the timeline that they're looking at. And the final report will be submitted to the committee by April 1, with the final presentation to the community on April 30th. Now that is what they're saying. But I am concerned, and really anybody who's out there that looks at this, there's a lot of language in this. And if you do not adhere to everything that is in here, boom, they can boot you. So you can be the best firm out there. If you miss a step, that gives them the right to disqualify and disregard your bid. So, because it says the RFP states that the owner reserves the right to reject any and all responses. Submissions require 6 copies of the RFP with 1 electronic. And the minimum evaluation, if they fail to meet the minimum, they're going to get rejected. So they have to have a cover letter that needs specific information in it. They need a demonstration of the ability to meet the minimum evaluation criteria, how they're going to approach the project, and references. So it really is, they're looking for a lot of information, which I get. But just to warn people, if you miss one step, that could be reason to get you disqualified. And it's going to cover policies and procedures and regulations and adherence, crime scene protocols, professional standards of conduct and accountability, organizational structure. There's a whole list of things that it's going to cover, and it's also going to look at the select board governance. So this is a huge opportunity for anyone who either is in this industry or knows someone in this industry.
You said there was a video. Like, where's this video, and how can people find out more information about this? You're giving a lot of info here.
I know it's not a video. It's in the comms by COMMSBUY. It's in that database. So people need to go out. People who do this kind of work know about the system. And it's called comms by, and they have to go out there to get the information. And then it looks like they have to.
You're breaking up again. You're breaking too much up. That seems very confusing too. It's just like they don't have a link. I mean, it's
no, because it's not automated. It's not automated, and it's not automated, and I don't understand.
Yeah.
So and they have to submit paper, and they have to go.
Rita, I would ask you to turn off the video. See if that makes better, because you're breaking up like every other word right now.
Oh,
Just
okay. Hold
turn
on.
Turn off the video. See if that helps.
What happened to my video? I gotta find it. Stop camera. Okay, let me stop this.
There you
Is
go.
that better?
Yes, much better.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. So, there's a lot to this, and I forget what your question was. What was your question, Mike?
No, it seems very confusing, like, especially for outsiders who, like, I guess if it's the same old players, they probably know how to access that info, but there's not even a link for it or anything. I don't know. It just
No,
seems kind of weird. It
it
seems
is.
like they have they probably have 2 or 3 firms that they are gonna hit up, and that's it. Like, it just, I don't know.
I'm concerned about it too, to tell you the truth, Mike. I'm very
Yeah.
concerned about it because when I read through this and I said, there's so many places in here where they could say, yep, nope, you didn't give it to us, out you go.
Yeah.
And there's so much criteria and information that they have to
And
provide.
even to find out how you can apply, we can't
Right.
even explain that. That's
says-
difficult. Peter, you have any comments on this?
I just had a question for Rita. Rita, did I wasn't clear on what you indicated the September 13th date was as far as submissions of something. Was that public comment? Did I interpret that way? Or what was September 13th, Rita, as far as a cutoff date for something?
So it's posted for 45 days, but during that process, people can ask questions. Say, hey, can you clarify this? Can you clarify that? And people can ask questions. September 13th, which is a Friday, they have decided that that's the last time that you can ask questions. And so if you ask a question, it's my understanding that they answer that question. And I guess that makes sense because, people are going to be bidding on this, and people don't want to bid on this and find out that somebody asked a question that changed direction.
Yeah.
So that does make sense to me. It does make sense. And it does say in here that if people have questions about the RFP, they can reach out to Bob McCarthy. And I do have an email address, which is iac@town.canton.
Maybe that's what you need to promote then. Say, if you're interested in applying, hit this dude up. Hit this dude up. Have
Right.
him direct you to how to actually apply.
It says, right. I'm just blown away. It's not automated. I'm totally blown away because I read in here, it says, okay, if you have questions, go to Randy Scollins.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't, it's a manual process, which, it's not automated, and that's unfortunate.
It is. Or that they don't even have a little website that just kind of explains everything. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
Because I guarantee you there are some new hungry consultants out there that they could do this. They just don't know how to even apply.
Yep. And it says, if you have less than 1 year or 1 to 3 years, they're going to rank you. So people who have more than 5 years in the industry are the ones who are going to get the higher ranking. So they rank this, but it is, I guess people who do this kind of work know to go into the comms system, and in that system, they have this information. But it does say Randy, and I'm going to put it up on Facebook too. So I was just reading over this, and I'm from an automated world.
Yeah, I would make a flyer, some kind of flyer or something to promote this. I think that's a good way to get the word out. We could all share it on Twitter and X and all those places.
Oh, excellent! That's a great idea. That's what I'll do.
Yep. The groups, Facebook, all that stuff.
Yep. Excellent idea. Because we got to get it out there.
Yep. Absolutely. We'll share it.
Awesome.
So I want to ask another question. Is there any hope that we're ever going to find out why Canton Police Officer Albert got suspended with pay?
So we have done a public records request because we heard he's working details, and somebody said they saw him on a detail, and it came back to us that he was not on that detail. So we went back and asked, well, who was on that detail then? And so we have to wait 10 days for the information. And we are also asking if for his paychecks for June 1 forward to see if he's been paid anything other than with pay. But no, we don't know why he is suspended with pay other than the fact he's Kevin Albert.
What do you think, Peter? Do you think the public has any right to know?
I do. I mean, I think there's got to be some transparency. That's what this whole idea of the audit was, and this is what all the proponents of the audit were touting, that accountability, transparency through the select board, who is responsible for the police department. It ends right there. And then, of course, the department head down. And I think, I certainly think there should be some disclosure as to, what's going on with taxpayers' dollars, I guess. And I guess since June, what do we got? June, July, almost 90 days are we looking at pretty much?
Yeah.
And we still don't have an explanation. I don't know. I guess somebody could certainly pressure the select board, the chief, to come forward with some kind of a statement.
Excellent. I'm checking Facebook and Twitter and all that to see if there's any commotion outside any of the select board members' homes tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Is there any chicken suits? Because I hadn't heard from the chicken suit guy, but he just got back to me. He said he's heading home now. So I think he might call in from home, actually. He'll probably give us an update about what happened tonight outside various homes of Canton Select Board members.
I think his costume might have changed tonight. Mike.
What were you hearing about? What kind of costume?
I have sworn to secrecy.
You're not going to give it away.
No. If you've heard from him, I'm sure he's going to either jump on with you shortly or communicate in some way.
No chicken content. I bet it's a duck. Maybe a duck tonight. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Maybe Big Bird. I don't know.
I'm sworn to secrecy.
I think he probably told me too, and I forgot. Like it's tough to keep up with everything, but he'll be calling. Hopefully, he calls in.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
What were you gonna say, Rita?
Is he outside the house tonight?
I think he was. That's what I heard, but I maybe not. Oh yes, this is what I'm hearing a rumor of. I think I did hear something about this. I knew something was going on. Actually, forgot about. How do I forget about a horse? Actually, I've been forgetting.
Oh, that's right, the horse.
He had a horse. Apparently, he's got a horse outside of town hall. Yeah.
Yes,
that's the rumor going around.
Yes.
I forgot. I'm so caught up in the Karen Reed stuff. I made a post yesterday about how Grant Smith Ellis was calling me out, right? And I was like, he always calls me out, but like the first line, like every time he posts something, he'll post like 10 paragraphs on me, and everything's all lies. But usually I just go after like the first statement, because if the first statement's a lie, you don't have to like even respond to the rest.
Yeah.
And like the first thing he said was that I was like I was right wing now because I was supported Turtle Boy, and I used to be a liberal progressive. And I said, I'm still progressive. Like I'm voting for Biden, I said. And then everyone went after me because it's Kamala. I'm like, see how, like, I don't even care about politics. You shouldn't either. You shouldn't care about how anyone votes related to this stuff. It's like, who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. Like if you vote for this one, I don't care. Peter probably voting for Trump. I don't know. I don't care. I'd have never asked. It's like, none of that shit matters. It shouldn't matter to you. But it's just funny because I forget things. Now I'm questioning, do I have Alzheimer's?
You're awful hard on yourself.
Do I have I forgot it was Kamala, and now I forgot that John had a horse at town hall.
Yeah.
I thought he had a horse too. There's a lot going on.
There is. And for me, my problem, like it's not a problem. It's actually a very good thing if you can use it the right way. I thought, like a lot of people, when you get into something, you just focus on that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, I don't have time for anything else.
There is such a thing as data overload too. I think I'm learning that myself. There's just so much coming in at all times. And just when you think you've got a break and maybe catch up on some other things, bang, you get hit with a bunch of emails, and somebody calls you and said, oh, I've got some information that needs to be passed along to X, Y, and Z, and it just starts again. Rita, you can agree with that, I'm sure, and Mike, it's probably what you see. You just mentioned
it's harder and harder now too, like because now my email list or my direct message list, it's overwhelming. I can never even. People ask me to do stuff for them, and I just get back to them. I'm like, are you kidding me? You're asking me to do something for you. Do you know if I did something for every fucking 1,000 people that asked me to do something for them every day, what do you think I would get done?
Yep, exactly. Yep. That's what that's what Sean McDonough will do. He just puts a block on his phone and disappears for 8 hours to get his work done.
I just say, don't ask me for shit. Like, especially if it's like stuff that like should be being done for me. Like, I'm trying to find someone to book shows. Don't ask me to book your show. Like that's like people do that all the time. They're like, "Could you do this for me?" I'm like, "You crazy? I can't even book my own show. Don't ask me to book yours."
Yeah.
But it's so funny. Like I love the feedback at the same time. I love all the comments. Like you love and hate it. It's so funny that you complaining about that. You want that. That's exactly what you want actually. But it is a challenge at times. People sometimes feel slighted if you don't get back to them. It's weird. I want to
People don't
yeah.
know. It is overwhelming. And sometimes, like lately, I've been like, okay, I just can't respond. I have to focus. I've got to get some stuff done and I got to do it with a clear head. But the challenge is in the messages that you're getting, there's very valuable information in there. So it's like,
is.
it's not like people saying, oh, hello, and this, that, and this.
Sometimes, I mean, that's a problem. There's so much of the, half the messages you get, you don't need. It's like, well, I appreciate when people say they love you, but half the time it's just like, I got this tip. That's not a tip. Like, it's just not. It's like they don't even it's funny. But I love the people that watch and support the show, number one. So I don't want to shit talk anyone at all. Tell us like this. So we're not going to find out about Mr. Albert while he got suspended. Which is not, I mean, we won't find out till when? Till they do a police audit? Will we even find out from there?
Well, he got suspended over the gun and the badge.
Do we know that? I mean, did she say that?
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. As soon as that came out on the stand from Michael Proctor, the next day he was out. So that's my understanding. I saw that somewhere that was confirmed. That's my understanding.
Then why don't they say that? Why don't you think if it's that obvious, which I assume everyone thinks that, I assume that too from watching that, but I didn't realize that it happened right the day after. If it
was
did,
the day after.
but like, why don't you think they even say like, hey, this is related to what he said, what Proctor said on the stand? Like,
I think it's just because I think it's just typical Canton, nothing wrong here, nothing wrong here. And, he's got the summer off. I mean, what kind of punishment is that? He's paid with the summer off for doing something as gross as what he did. I mean, that's very disturbing. Out drunk in a cruiser with the lead investigator. And, it's the whole situation is so wrong. It's just so they should never have been in the same car together, let alone out drunk and then leaving his gun there and his badge and, being hung over the next day. It's not a good look. It's not a good look for the Mass State Police. It's not a good look for the Canton Police.
yeah, it seems like too, like it would be something, especially when what he's accused of. I mean, like losing his gun, losing his badge, getting drunk, drunk drive, all this crap.
Yep.
You would think the police chief would come out and say something publicly, like do it. Like someone said, you should do a press conference. She should do a press conference on it. Like she should like put out a statement on like an email. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure she communicates with the press. I can't believe that they haven't made any type of statement. The only statement I saw was related to his investigation with Michael Proctor, which raised more questions. It was like, what investigation was he doing with Michael Proctor? What the hell are you talking about?
Just as you brought up, is she talking to the press? I just want to say something. I don't think I said it earlier. NBC 10 and Fox 25 did stories on the lawn when we thought it was bleach. And I gave them the update. And they want to run with an update on their news stations, but they're waiting for Chief Rafferty, to respond back to them. And they haven't heard back from her. They are looking to run this story to let people know what was done to our properties wasn't bleach. It was something even more toxic and commercial grade. So they're waiting to hear back. They're waiting to hear back from her.
Now that you said it, she probably won't respond at all, ever.
Well, then she looks bad.
Yeah.
I mean, she's the chief of police, she's the chief of police, and people have reached out to ask her about the chemicals that were in those balloons. And, thank God a child did not get hurt. those balloons were full of liquid. And a child would, if a child got their hands on that, they would have picked it up and thrown it at another child. That's what kids do.
Yep. Or an animal, a
Yeah,
cat
and
or a
you needed
dog.
water readily available to rinse eyes and everything else. That child would have been screaming in agony.
It's just horrible to think that people would do that, because that's takes planning. Like, it's not just something like, someone walked by and just threw something. It was like, it's one thing if someone throws like litter outside, out there because
Yeah.
they're just mad at you and they just impulse thing.
Yeah.
But this was kind of planned out. This is took thought. They got the balloons, they got the bleach.
Oh, absolutely. They didn't even dilute it. They just filled up the balloons. I mean, this was serious stuff. They came up on my property. There's no way they hit some of the spots that they hit without coming up on my property. And I believe they were on foot. I don't think they were in a car. I don't think for a second they were in a car. And we know right around the same time that Dennis smelt the bleach, Colin was at Lank's house, and Colin did a circle U-turn right in front of Dennis Sweeney's house and looked at Dennis Sweeney as if to say, "Remember my face." So I don't know who did it. We don't know who did it, but whoever did it is not well and is very angry. And it's interesting because the McAlberts were pretty confident that Karen was going to be found guilty. And they were down at that VFW ready to celebrate. And then, look, we weren't happy. Supporters of Karen Reed weren't happy that the trial ended in a mistrial, but we accepted that. And, whoever did this was very angry. And we know the McAlberts' friends and family were very angry that Karen Reed was not convicted. In fact, she was acquitted on charges 1 and 3. So I don't know who did it, but the timing of the letter last fall and the timing of this is no coincidence.
What do you think? Do you think Helena Rafferty or the police department are questioning any suspects about this?
Hell no. Hell no. They know who did this. They know this is McAlbert friends and family. They know it. And they're McAlbert friends and family. I read something, somebody posted something, it was really good, from 2008. They just posted it on Facebook yesterday, and I've only been able to see a little bit on Facebook, but they posted an article that was written in 2008 about people in the Canton Police Force and how the families, it's multi-generation. And so when their fathers are police officers, as children, they're all socializing they're going to work with their dad and the other kids of the dads, and they're all family. These people might as well be blood relatives. And so
Rafferty's at least second generation, or is it third? I know Kelleher's third. What?
Kelleher's third, but Kelleher's
third. Rafferty's second. So I mean, it's very common.
Kelleher's father is her godfather.
Yep. And Kelleher's grandfather was the chief of police.
Yes. Yeah.
Peter, what do you think? Like, what would you do if you were a police officer and you were tasked with solving this bleach issue and figuring out who did it? What would you do as a police officer to get to the bottom of it for Rita?
Well, that's a good question. I was going to ask Rita if she had been updated through anybody from the police department, spokesperson or otherwise. Rita, have you had any kind of feedback?
So Helena sent me an email and said that there were no fingerprints on the balloons, but the chemicals that were in the balloons, I got that information. And then I said, well, there was a vape pen. Was there DNA on the vape pen? And she didn't think I was concerned about that. I was only concerned about the fingerprints. I said, no, I'm concerned about any evidence that would help us to identify who this was. So the pen is going to go out for testing on August 30th. At the state police lab. And, what she wants is the letter. She wants the letter, and I'm not giving it. I'm not giving it. Unless, of course, IT, Lewis, can come back and convince me of a valid reason why that video was inverted and 42 minutes were missing and people were disappearing. She says it's my erroneous perception. I'm all ears. Show me what I'm missing. And if he can successfully do that, then I'll consider turning over the letter. But if he can't do that, why would I turn over a letter to a police department that used solo cups, a leaf blower, that did not follow policy and procedure, that interviewed people a year and a half after the fact? I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't turn it over to somebody. Why would I trust somebody like that? I wouldn't.
Well, so to answer your question, Mike, as was the case on January 29th of 22, there's the development or the neighborhood that we're talking about where Rita and Dennis and 34 Fairview. Rita, what would you say? I mean, I think that was a John Marini construction endeavor on his part. There's got to be, what, 300 homes in that neighborhood?
Oh,
Would you
yeah.
say?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot. Yeah. I mean, and this is a nice neighborhood. This is a sought after neighborhood. You don't find this kind of stuff. I mean, I don't think you find this stuff anywhere. I mean, who in their right mind is going to fill balloons with toxic chemicals and throw them on somebody's property? I mean, who's going to do that? Somebody who is not well.
I guess the point I'm making to answer Mike's question is, I don't think you three victims were immediately aware that your property and you had been targeted until either the odor started to be detected or the lawn damage and the garden damage. So there could have been 3 or 4 days. I don't know. A 3 or 4 day period that the Ring cameras would have to be looked at going back in time. But I've got to believe, basically, you can attest to this, Rita. There's 3 ways in and out of that 300 or 400 home development. There's Maplecroft, there's Cedar Crest, and there's Fairview. Am I right?
Yes.
Spring Lane, I guess, too.
Yes.
4. So again, 4 streets, 4 more sets of Ring cameras. Somebody should be able to articulate in a report that should be on file. On such and such a date, I was dispatched by so-and-so and the command staff to spend X amount of time walking, ringing on doorbells all up and down that had Ring cameras. Was it done? I don't know. I can't speak to that, but
it wasn't done because what she wrote in the email is with all the media coverage, which I know she didn't like, but do something to me and I'm going to go ding-a-ling-a-ling. That's what I'm going to call the media up. Yes, you're going to mess with me. I'm going to tell the media. That's just how I roll. And, she said with all the media attention, she's surprised that none of my neighbors came forward. And well, I'm surprised. The Canton police didn't go knocking on their doors. Why is it my job to do that?
Right. Why is it? Yeah. The residents' job to watch the news to know to call you or call, that's ridiculous.
Did you indicate, excuse me, just one other comment in relative to something that was already said. Did you indicate that, I think I saw a picture of it, the vape camera was in immediate proximity to the, was it a Target bag in the balloons?
Yes, it's what they did. And I wish I looked in. When I called, the officer who picked up said, do not, touch it. And of course, you're not supposed to touch evidence. And I wish I did look at it because there was probably a receipt in it, knowing these people in their low caliber. But there were 2 balloons that were full of liquid. There were a couple of broken balloons, all the same color of the balloons that we had found. And the Target bag was also inside of a large green bag. And interesting enough, the Target bag had some browning in it. It's almost as if it burnt some of the bag.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we didn't touch it, but it had the balloons in it, and that's what they discarded it. So it was halfway walking distance between my house and the Sweeneys. The Sweeneys live like the next street over. So this was halfway between, and they discarded it on the side of the road, just like beneath a bush that was there on a property line. And the vape was there as well. I think they dropped the vape, whether they did it on purpose or not. I think the vape, went with the bag, and it was inches from the bag.
So the presumption would be, or at least a speculation would be, that the vape was part of the incident in the crime scene. It's just a question of whether or not. But the vape hasn't been analyzed for fingerprints and or DNA or anything along those lines? Is that-
It was analyzed for fingerprints. She was not aware that I wanted them to test it for DNA. So, I said, of course, test it with DNA. Put it in a red Solo cup and, send it to the Mass Police and take your leaf blower and blow it out the door and give it to the Mass State Police. I mean, and then she asked me, well, you gave me the balloons to test. Why won't you give me the letter? I said, because the letter's pristine. The balloons were on the ground for probably a week and it rained and everything else. And the letter's pristine. So, I don't think these people had the wherewithal last October to use gloves. I don't.
Well, to speak to what was said earlier, the high profile level of this case, with 4 streets in and out of there, it would seem to me that there would have been some sort of an effort by the command staff to have an investigation of people going door to door, checking ring cameras, to see if there was any footage going back X amount of days. The feasibility of that, I think, was there, but that probably is too far down the road
Too
now.
late now.
Yeah, we just don't know. I mean, we knew, my fiance had said for a few days, Rita, somebody threw liquid on your lawn. And I said, I thought it was crazy. I said, nobody threw liquid on my lawn. And it wasn't until I was over the Sweeney's and then we put it together and then I came back and I said, oh my God, because I've lived here for 25 years and I know when the sun and it doesn't get enough water, which it was getting plenty of water. I know where it browns and it's not in those spots.
There you go. Oh, we just lost John. John Como, call back. We're just about to put John on and he disappears.
I told you he'd jump in.
Yeah, I was trying to get him in, but it's just, we're looking for the break. And as soon as the break cut, there he is. He's coming back. There he goes. What's up,
Sorry,
John?
I was looking at the chat. Sorry. I was touching buttons.
You already took your shirt off? You're already making yourself at home?
Yeah, I just got home. I had to return a generator. I went prepared tonight with a generator in case there was no power up at town hall.
What happened? What were you doing? You were with a horse? I don't know what's going on.
I decided to I didn't want to bring a real horse, although someone had a real horse, and I thought the better of it. I'm like, oh, I don't want to have anything happen. I didn't want it to get spooked, so I brought a 9-foot inflatable horse this time, and I was met up there with 6 or 7 Canton residents who were also very unhappy with the fact that they were locked out of town hall.
And you did this at town hall tonight?
Well, we started at town hall and then we made our way to John Conley's house yet again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did the inflatable and not the real horse. I don't want any animals used in this stuff. I think an inflatable is a much better choice.
Yeah, it was a lot safer. I mean, I had to tie the thing down a couple times. It was a little windy today. No, I mean, there was 6 or 7 of us there, all up at town hall. We waited till 10 of 7 so that they could get home to watch the meeting. And I decided, well, I got to go by John Conley's house on my way home. So that's what I did. I stopped and I was joined by very colorful Colleen. She's got no filter. Well, that's all I can say. She has no filter. I might not have a shirt, but she has no filter. I try to use humor, and she, I'll tell you, she doesn't hold anything back. The Brayleys were there, Keith and Lily Braley. When we were at town hall, Neil Kelleher was up there. Sweeney was up there. There was, some people. One thing happened is John Conley's neighbor came out to see what the ruckus was all about. And when he asked what was going on, and I told him, he had no idea. And he even said, he goes, why isn't he up at town hall? He said, you ask him, So
Is there
They
a
could have
theme?
had that up
Is there a
Did
theme
you
right
know-
in front of you, John? Is there
What's
a little
that?
theme going in front? Is there a theme or a message there in
He's
front?
got
Oh,
the ducky going.
You got the ducky and a little Narragansett.
Did any
Um,
police show up tonight?
They drove by. Undercover drove by on Chapman Street, and just one dude, we're peaceful. All we're doing is standing out there with some signs. You know,
Right.
I walked up into town hall and looked around, and you know, they and here's the thing. The chairman wasn't even there tonight. They knew he wasn't going to be there tonight. They could have had it up there if they didn't, you know, if they wanted. Trish just asked. I was just watching the end of the meeting, and Trish asked. She said, "I have a question. When are we going to end the Zoom meeting?" And JR said, "I don't know. I'm going to have to talk to."
Did she say that? I might have missed it. Was that the end of the meeting tonight?
Yeah, right near the end. Yep. Well, the second to last thing. The last thing was Chris thanking everybody. You know, thank you everybody for coming. Oh, that's classic.
Trish suggesting that, you know, they finally come to sanity. At least one
But
person.
she's asking. She's like, when are we done with these Zoom meetings? And JR said, I don't know. I'm going to have to talk to the chair about it. So, you know, you would think if the chair knew he was on vacation and the vice chair is running the meeting, he could have announced this last week. Hey, we're going to have it up at town.
Yeah, but
they
that
don't
would
want
be
to.
impolite. That would be impolite.
Right. They don't want to go against each other.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that would be impolite. That
Yeah.
would be not nice.
Nope. Right.
So John Conley, did he come out? Did you hear anything about him? Was he
No.
upset?
Somebody texted me saying that I can't wait to see the Zoom because he said there was a commotion outside of his house. They was going to do it. Well, I guess.
John said
There was
that.
no commotion.
John Conley.
Yeah, he said there was something going on outside. There was a ruckus outside of his house. There was no ruckus.
Maybe tomorrow night I'll have to replay the whole Canton Select Board.
Yeah.
Because we cut out. We were just getting so tired of this Zoom shit that it's just like it's like, you know, we'll do our counter programming to them because they suck. We'll show the public comment, but like when they do Zoom, it's the worst friggin' meeting. It's just such a joke. So
Well, I was getting updates left and right, like Chris left and so and so's screen is black, and it's like they can't even handle a Zoom.
yeah, they
meeting.
can't even handle a Zoom meeting. They look like such amateurs.
Yeah.
At least tonight they put video up of the people when they were speaking and not the blank screen, which is.
Did they allow it? Did they cut anyone off?
No, they did not.
So they let people. Did anyone speak over their 3 minutes?
I think Rita did by like maybe a couple seconds.
Of course, Rita did. Is she still on? Hi, Rita. Of course she is. You know,
but it was nothing major. It was she was actually cut herself off quickly too. So she, yeah.
Rita, I love you. Rita, you know I love you.
Yeah.
Rita.
I love you too. I love you all.
I love y'all.
Rita, did you grab yourself by the shirt and sit yourself in the timeout chair?
Oh my God. Can you believe it? I know. I have to tell you, every time I see that clip of that cop,
Me too.
Waylon, grabbing Jen,
Yep.
that impacts me.
Doesn't it?
It triggers me.
Yeah.
I mean, it triggers me.
And here's the thing. I don't even blame that cop. I blame them because they knew better. They knew. They set him up just like they set Tom Theodore up.
You know, I don't know that they set him up. I think that he was clueless. There's no question he was clueless.
Right.
And he knew the people in the audience because
Like they didn't tell him. They didn't say, hey, listen. They didn't prep him. That's what I'm saying. They set him up. They didn't prep him.
He's from Norway.
Yeah, they're all. You know what? They're all a bunch of fools.
Yeah,
they're just all like foolish on every level. That's what it is. We got a question for Rita. Rita, the chemicals used to clean pizza shops? Question mark from
so
our KLR.
I heard from somebody who has a restaurant, and they said that a restaurant would not use that. But it is in manufacturing. It is industrial repair. It's to remove grease from like an automobile. It's heavy
Someone said
duty.
automotive,
Yes.
and there isn't an automotive guy. Who knows, right?
Yep, environmental. Yep,
Brilliant.
it's
Let
heavy.
me ask, I want to go back to Peter on this whole bleach thing. Would you go if you were a police officer, and how would this work? Like, would there be a level where you would start knocking on doors? Like, I know you talked about ring cameras knocking on doors, but in terms of suspects, because there's obviously, you know, if you ask Rita, if you ask some of the other Free Karen Reed people in Canton, they probably have some suspects, people that maybe they didn't do it, but it's, you know, it's possible. Would you start, you know, when would you start, if you were a police officer investigating this, would you start knocking on their doors and asking questions, or do you hold off and wait? How does that work?
Well, again, I think the only factor that's working against the investigation is we didn't really have a timeline of when the incident took place. In other words, you couldn't really go to somebody and say, "Hey, Mike, you know, Mike Crawford, were you home on Friday evening between the hours of 9 and 1 a.m. when we heard our dogs barking and saw a car take off with its lights out?" So, you know, there could have been, I don't know, Rita might know more from the chemical element. There could be a 7 to 10 day period that that incident may have been stale. So that makes it a little more difficult to go
So
to the
that's why
neighborhood.
you go to the ring cameras first.
Yeah.
To determine
Yeah,
what happened.
wouldn't you have gone to all the ring cameras in the neighborhood to see if the same vehicle went by the same houses?
That's what he said first. Yeah, that's what Peter's already addressed that.
Yeah.
I think they were on foot. I think the way the place where the bag was discarded. So, John, the bag was discarded. Their source bag was discarded between Oakdale and Kings Road.
Oh, I know that area.
Right between the two houses, right between the two on the property line. There's a bush right there by the fence, and it was discarded right there, like kind of shoved a little bit under the bush, but they didn't even try to conceal it. They just, it's like they got lazy and just said, "Now let's just get rid of it. We don't want to."
No, they didn't get lazy. They got juvenile.
I think that
someone had access to someone else's stuff.
Yeah, I think this could be. We have some characters in our Canton First entitled County population. We have some grown men that are looking for attention, that are looking to be recognized as being heroes. So I wouldn't be surprised if one or two of them were involved, in addition to the normal suspects. But you know, this is not a well person who did this. It really isn't. I mean, this stuff goes for $166 for a small container.
No, this is hatred. This is pure hatred. That's what it is.
It's hatred and anger. And I do believe it happened right after the mistrial. Absolutely happened right after the mistrial, because it was right shortly thereafter that, you know, Phil noticed, and he said someone threw liquid, and I wish I took him serious because I thought he was insane. I mean, who would throw liquid on my lawn? I thought he was nuts.
So I have a quick, and I'll be quick with this one. Friday night, I was at Mick Morgan's with a family member and a judge, Massachusetts, you know, a local judge.
What kind of judge? Do you know?
I don't want to give it away, but a judge, a current judge.
So
and,
like district court type, and they do civil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and the judge had said, you know, Jonathan, I'm in court all day long, and the last thing I want to do is when I get home is watch even more court. You know, I know some of the stuff about the case, but not everything. So, you know, I filled this judge in to some of the stuff. Now, the people, we were outside at the tables at McMorgan's. It's an Irish place down in Walpole, big outdoor area. But the people at the table, the guy was smiling the whole time. He was facing me, but his wife, girlfriend had her back to us the whole time. And when they got up to leave, let me tell you, she was just not happy with me. She was shaking her head and gave me a look and everything. And the judge had caught it. And she's like, John, did I bump her chair or something? I go, no. I go, here's the thing. They either love you or they absolutely hate you. There's no middle. I go, that's a person that hates me right now. I go, and I'm fine with it. I go, because I put my name on everything. I go, she's probably going back to report half the stuff I just told you, but so yeah, it's hatred. There's people that just, there's so much hate.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
I just have to laugh at it like that. If you're that, I told you, someone looked up, I told the audience this. I don't know if the rest of you heard it, but like one of them looked up my parents' 1972 divorce that I've never
Oh.
seen before.
God.
And so when I saw it, I was like, what? Wait. Oh, it took me a second to figure out what I was looking at. And I was just like, that is a level of hatred.
Yeah. Yep.
That just, it's disturbing. It's like I really got into their heads. I'm proud of that. I'm actually proud of it.
Oh, trust me. Nothing fuels me more than the day after I do any of this stuff, because I go on Twitter and it's just that, oh, it's awesome.
You
just
get
to
it
see
every
that.
time you come on here,
Oh,
don't you? Yeah.
Every time I'm either on here or I do one of my little Canton stints. The next day I scroll through Twitter. I scroll
It's
and
so
I'm,
bad.
or people, you wouldn't believe how many people send me stuff from their Canton First site. I mean, hey guys, I got multiple people. It's not just one. Just letting you know.
That's when you got to keep doing whatever you're doing.
And
That's yeah.
the hatred. You know, they're like, a rubber ducky. A rubber ducky is holding the town hostage. That was one of them. I'm like, okay, I'm holding the town hostage. Sure I am. You know, the best is somebody in here screenshotting things and sending it to him? No. How do you think I'm getting the information? You're like, oh, it's awesome. You know, just knowing how angry they get at the simplest little costume.
So
I didn't even wear a costume
I
today.
love this question. Could someone explain why John is shirtless? Because that's
This is for
John.
Jen.
John
This
always
is for
thinks I'm
Jen.
evil.
This is for Jen.
He's
Everybody
doing it for
knows
you guys.
this is for Jen.
This is
All right?
This is when the ladies kick in the extra money, the donation.
No.
come in for my
All
show.
right. Once again, and I'll make it even
You're
quicker.
supposed to keep your shirt on until they
I
give
know.
the
And make the
and
money.
then-
You were supposed to yeah.
That's what happened last time. It worked.
And this is when that lady was, you know, I was telling the judge the story, and this is when the lady was like just looking at me and shaking her head. I'm like, oh well. So early on in the event,
Stop 1 second. Kathy Riccio says time to put a shirt on. I'm gonna say, Kathy, if you give a no, John, don't do it. She's
Well, I gotta
give
get it
a
ready.
donation, and then you put the
Kathy, give a
shirt on.
donation. I'll put it on.
If Kathy gives a donation, well, you got to
Yep.
do a super chat.
Next donation, it goes back on.
Yeah, and if you want it kept off, people
I got
want
a duck shirt. I got a duck shirt right. Oh, actually, here I got a shirt ready to go.
We do want to see
Somebody
the duck
gave me this
shirt.
thing.
All right.
Wait a minute. How about this one?
I gotta put my glasses on.
Hold on. Let me enlarge you too, so we can all see it here. Oh yeah, I don't. What is it? The lettering say? I don't give a duck.
I don't give a duck. There you go.
That seems like
glasses.
that's very hateful. That's very
There you
intimidating.
go. I don't give a duck.
I am
How's
very
that?
intimidated
love it.
right now. I am. Oh my god. I don't give
No,
a
it's just early on. Literally, the only thing I did was I didn't know Turtle. I didn't know Turtle from anyone else. And all I said is, listen, you're butchering the people's names. You're butchering. You don't know the streets. And I just tried to give them, you know, just say, hey, you're pronouncing these names wrong. Next thing you know, Jen's sharing an old picture of me from Twitter to him, and I'm like, oh, you want to see me? You'll see a ton of me now. I'm not embarrassed by it. I'm 52 years old. I'm more like Mike and Ike than Magic Mike.
You look pretty good for 52. You're a good looking
Thank
man.
you.
I think some people do appreciate it.
So
Jen
that's all.
obviously did
That's all for
appreciate
Jen.
it. Yeah.
That's all for Jen.
Yeah,
You want to
so-
see me? You see me.
So Jennifer McCabe had shared around John's shirtless, shirtless picture to Turtle Boy.
She sexually assaulted Turtle with my picture.
This is fun. So now I love your shirt. I want to know, where can people get that shirt?
Oh, I
don't
a
give a
friend.
duck.
I have a friend that made these. These actually, well, now it's worn, so I'm gonna have to get another one. These were all part of the scavenger hunt items that I was gonna hide around Canton a couple weeks ago.
We gotta get a link to those. I want to see everyone in Canton wearing.
Oh my
that
God!
shirt.
I have.
That'll be
Trust
or
me,
I'll have to even get a Young Jerks version.
What else? What else? I have all these presents. Here's a little. Here's a water bottle. It's an I don't give a duck water bottle.
Oh, we need to get those around town.
Oh my God! Yep. Look, little. The top.
We need to promote that.
These were the things that were going to be hidden all around Canton when I was doing my scavenger hunt.
This is fun. We're
What else
having
did she
fun
give me?
tonight.
What else? I got a whole package full of things that she, oh, this is a bigger, oh, I might keep this one. Same thing. Oh, shh, no one cares.
I got intimidated.
Uh,
You're intimidating
Oh,
me.
you know what?
I'm gonna
Oh
call
my
the
God.
police on you. You're intimidating me.
I'm so gonna, oh wait, and then there's some nice glasses. Let's see what the glasses, I gotta unwrap them. They're all, oh yeah, no. And then
Oh, yeah.
here's,
Oh, wait.
here's,
Something just happened, John.
what? What's happening?
Stephanie, our moderator, just gave $9.99. And her
Take that shirt
message
back
is
off.
off.
All right, well, money talks, I mean, money talks. So here's the glass. There's a glass, it says, I don't give a duck,
I don't give a duck. I'll do whatever. Thank you so much. Oh, here's another one. Miss Shorty says, do not put on the shirt ever.
You got
some
hey,
female
for the
fans
record,
here.
I don't even get a cut of this money.
No, it's all going to me.
I know.
And the IRS and YouTube.
Yeah.
They're the ones really getting rich, those bastards.
Hey, if someone donates $25 right now, Peter will take off his.
Peter didn't agree to that.
$25.
No. Don't do that.
He'll put me in the green room at that risk.
All right. We're having too much fun over here. We are having way too much fun tonight.
So yeah, so that's all that was. It's just really, honestly, it's just when they went after me, I go in 10 times. So it's basically, you want to see me, you're going to see a ton of me, and that's that. Although the last day of court, I kept my back to her, and halfway through, I felt bad. I'm like, I should turn around and go say hi to her, but I was like, yeah, I'm not going over there.
Now they want you to do an OnlyFans, John.
Oh my God.
And another comment, Katie Spitz wanted to auction you off. No more John talk. We're done.
No,
so
we're good with that.
We'll go to final thoughts tonight or anything we missed tonight. Let's start with Peter Murphy. You have any thing that you want to bring up or anything that we didn't talk about or even drill down more on?
Let's see. I mean, do we have an over-under on if and when they're going to resume public comments? It sounded like from what I heard earlier that they said there was no chairperson today and they were going to bring it up when the chairperson was back or something. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, when he comes back from vacation.
I know once, Rita, you still on the air here?
I am.
Okay, I know at one point, the ACLU was notified about the cessation of the open forum meetings. And I believe in a letter I read, indicated it was pretty direct to the town that was not to happen again. How do they bypass this now if there is no COVID risk and there's public meetings going on left and right throughout the town, Pequot Side Farm, et cetera?
I don't know the answer to that. I know we have a lot of public records requests out there, and I don't have an answer to that. I don't know how they're doing it. It's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. It really
even
is.
Channel 5, the president did an editorial.
Yeah.
Yep.
They need to get back in. I didn't like that he called us a circus.
Yeah.
Because we're not a circus,
But that's his editorial. That's his own.
Yeah, he can say what he wants,
Yeah.
I mean, we are cheering on our team. That's what we're doing. We're cheering on our team. And we're doing it with class and respect. And I'm proud of it. I'm proud of everything this movement has done. I really am. And there's nothing they can do. And they can't be us. They can't. They never can.
All right. So my only comment, Mike, at the end in closing would be, I would like to believe that there are some good intending officers on the Canton Police Department who want to see truth and justice and transparency and the right thing done. And I think by now there's probably some pretty well-formulated opinions by the rank and file officers as to what happened on that night on the 29th. And I understand they're intimidated, and I understand there's not a lot they can do. It could be their careers, it could be their job. But let's just hope that the whole department isn't being painted with a broad brush, that there are some good officers, and maybe something good will come from them sooner than later. And maybe they have gone to the right authorities or brought some information forward that we're not aware of. Amen.
Let's hope
Yep.
so. And
Amen.
it's not your final thoughts either, because I just thought of something I need to ask you actually.
Okay. All right.
The last time you came on our show, Kevin went crazy about it. And he kept talking about this. I think it was not an ATF. Some kind of federal agent that you supposedly talked to.
Okay.
Was this guy active? What's he talking about? Because you did say something about that, but then you also talked about the delay, and that's what I talked about more. So I didn't follow up on that comment that you made. So can you clarify whatever you were talking about that night?
Yes, and if I'm understanding you correct, you're looking for an answer, yes or no answer, if the person that called me to report what was about to happen was an active or inactive law enforcement officer. And I can tell you he was inactive.
See, so there you go. Did Kevin call you and ask you about that?
No, Kevin hasn't talked to me since, or even talked about me, pretty much until he told Sean that I was a liar, that I never talked to Josh Levy. And the chances of me talking to Josh Levy would have been about the same as me calling Joe Biden. So that's the last I heard of Plevin.
He's such a liar because he's so stupid too. Because I hadn't even followed up with you on that. Like when I heard him say that, I the first thing I thought of is like, yeah, he did say something about that, and that's what I thought when you were telling me that this guy's probably a retired federal agent, making a suggestion. So this guy didn't have any inside info. The retired federal agent, he was just speculating on what he's seeing, the circus sideshow downtown. Is that what was going on there?
That's exactly what was going on.
So I was right in what
Okay.
I assumed for my assumption, but I wouldn't assume it and go on the air and talk like, I know this for a fact, unless I do what? Talk to you, Peter, and find out actually what the fuck's going on. And that's why Kevin is such a friggin' loser. He doesn't go and find out what's actually going on. He assumes, and he's always wrong. He
assumes, and remember, he gets his information from
KP and Grant.
Chris Albert.
Yeah, Chrissy Albert.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Those three.
Right.
I mean, it's just a joke. He's gone after you so many times. I mean, you saw what he did right after the last show. Like, you came on our show, it blew up. I don't know how many thousands of views, but it was like 50,000 type viewed show. It got a lot of people talking, a lot of love for you. And then Kevin immediately comes back at you. Like, what is your feeling when you see that?
It's just, I'm too far down the road of life to let people like that bother me. I mean, I've had people on the job, threaten me and my family. It's not a big deal. Whatever he feels he needs to do, he can have at it.
You don't even care. I love it. That's
No.
awesome. You're the man. Thank you so much, Peter Murphy, for being here again. Retired Canton police officer. He no longer lives in Canton, but how many decades did you live in Canton and work in Canton?
I lived in Canton over 40 years, and I worked in Canton cumulatively a total of over 3 decades, starting originally back in the mid 70s, and then retiring in 2010.
I guess you care about the town of Canton.
Well, it was a good town to grow up in. I was active. I played sports in the town. Went through high school. Played hockey. Our hockey team. John will appreciate this. Our hockey team just got inducted. I say my hockey team. I was a freshman. No, I was a sophomore. It was the class of 1967, Canton 1967 team. Russ Kidd was the coach, and this is just more or less for information for people listening that might be from the town. And we were inducted into the Canton Hall of Fame for winning the South Shore League down at Ridge Arena. and we went into the Boston Garden. I got to skate in the old garden, and we lost to Arlington 5-2. But
Amazing.
yeah,
That's amazing. What position did you play in hockey?
I tried to play right wing.
Awesome. You're a right winger.
And back
I
then, like Arlington, Matignon, like all those,
Was it
those
Arlington
were the
Catholic? Was it
powerhouses.
AC? Arlington Catholic or Arlington High School? Because they're both good actually in hockey.
We lost to Arlington High School. They had
High school, yeah.
They had a powerhouse, but
They were powerhouses.
we played Archie Bills, we played Weymouth, we played Needham. There were names like Sheehan, Fatorik, skating around the ice during those time frames. And but the team that we ended up winning the South Shore League with was actually the first team in Canton that was a accumulation of organized hockey. Russ Kidd didn't have any money. They didn't have a hockey program. He was the coach. They used to skate on the ponds. John Camone knows all these stories, I'm sure. There was no money. There was no hockey gear. It was tough. To get a hockey stick from Leo Strumsky, you had to say a novena for $1.25.
Now it's all these schools are like money teams. That's what my old kids I used to coach, they call it now. They're like, they don't scrap like they didn't have one uniform. They didn't have, like, it's so funny because the kids in some schools, it depends on the school, but it's funny because I went to Triton High School and I think we were at Division II, and we used to like, because I was a wrestler, but I was friends with a lot of hockey players. So it was like baseball, football and hockey were like the two biggest sports by far in the high school. And Canton was always right there. It was like another public school in the South Shore, like Triton, that was like always had a good team. Has Canton always had good hockey teams from like ever?
Always, forever.
Yeah, I'd always see them at the top. They were always right there.
See, I was growing up in the 70s. I was one of those poor kids. My father coached youth hockey because he loved it. I mean, he came down from Nova Scotia. He played semi-pro hockey, and he was the manager of the rink, and he coached. So, and I didn't know this at the time, but I mean, I had all hand-me-down gear from my brother, or we'd go to Owen Hughes and you'd get like used gear off the rack. I never had new skates, and you just made it work. So Peter, I trust me, I get it. I mean, we spent on New Year's. We spent on New Year's. We got Chinese food and we went down to the rink and we skated around the rink on New Year's. That's what we did. Or we'd be on the ponds.
That's why my family, we didn't play hockey. That's why my mother was like, we can't afford it. Play soccer.
Right.
Play soccer instead. We can afford soccer. We can afford baseball. We can afford basketball. We can't afford hockey. That was my family. Anyway.
A pair of skates these days is $600-700.
Oh, yeah.
A stick is $300.
Pads and the mask and the helmet and the sticks.
The worst is the guy chops my hockey stick in men's league. I look at him. I'd rather the guy fight me than hit my stick, because my stick costs like $300.
I told
And then you have to pay for the ice time too. You pay to practice every day. It's just
which leads me to let me give my last thing, and I said it earlier. Canton used to be a tough town. They pride themselves on being just hardworking, tough, gritty, blue collar, the football, the hockey, you name it. And for what the selectmen are doing right now shows how weak we are. All right. For the selectmen to have to Zoom because they can't deal with people shows how weak we are now as a society, that you can't even handle 30 people in one room. And if you can't handle 30 people in one room and you have to Zoom, get out. Okay.
From your own town, too. From your own town. Like that's the thing too.
Yep.
We're not talking about like, you're visiting another state. This is your own town.
No, he was a theater major. I mean, nothing against theater majors. I was in some plays and theater things too, but Mike, if you can't handle it, step down and let someone else handle it. I know JR could handle it. Let JR take it. Step down.
Agree. That's a very good point. Very good points, Mr. Como.
Sorry. That's the angriest I get. That's me at angry right there.
Thank you for putting your shirt back on for me.
Yeah.
Even though some of the, these folks aren't happy, Stephanie and Miss Shorty are not happy right now.
Sorry.
So Rita, what are your final thoughts tonight, Rita Lombardi?
I just, I want them to go back to in person. This is embarrassing for our town. It does not show leadership. It does not show courage. And the McGalberts, friends and family, were rewarded. This is what they wanted. And
Yeah.
I believe that the select board wanted it too. Because if the select board didn't want it, they wouldn't be hiding behind virtual right now. And, you know, we have seen for the last year that there's no leadership there. We need leadership. So whoever the chair is has not led. And I think John Conley deliberately is letting the other ones take the heat and, you know, not sit in the chair seat for whatever reason. You know, we will get this town where it needs to be. We will turn this around. Canton is going to recover from this, and we are going to be proud again. I promise you it's going to happen, because I'm not going to accept anything less.
Rita, did you hear about the meeting last night?
No.
Oh, Mike, tomorrow, when you're looking, you might want to play the bylaw meeting it'll be up on cable tomorrow.
What happened?
Was that
The
from
new
last week?
the new bylaw committee, the committee that's going to what's that?
Modernization?
Yes. Oh, yeah, they had a meeting last night.
So how did it go? I'm curious.
Well, so, you know, the first thing that happens is they have to choose a chairperson.
Yeah.
Well, it's a 9-member committee. It's stocked with Louis Justris, Mike Loughran, Jen Bright, who is the secretary for the selectmen, Paul McAuliffe III, what's her name? Brenda McGonigal.
McAuliffe III.
There's a guy, George Camo. There's so the first thing that they do is they decide that they're going to vote on a chair, and the first motion up was made for Mike Loughran. Now it's a 9-member committee, and the only one not there, Mike Loughran, is on vacation. So it ended up being 3 votes for, 5 against.
Wow.
And then the second person nominated George Camo, and that ended up being 6 people for, 2 against.
Wow.
So George Camo for the first year will be the chair of that committee.
Did anything else happen? That's all they decided was a chairperson?
Well, there's more. No, there's a little more to
Doesn't
it.
sound
I mean,
exciting to me so far.
well, no, I mean, Paul
Sounds like you
McAuliffe
just
was
want to
asking.
drop that George is the chairperson.
Yeah, well, Paul
He loves
McAuliffe was
his brother.
asking, like, what is it a weighted? He goes, you know, what can we? Is it a weighted vote? And it's like, no, everyone gets a vote. There's no weighted votes. And then he's like, well, your vote's not. Your
So
vote
there was
wasn't unanimous.
Was there a fight about
So,
that?
Well, Paul McAuliffe was crying about stuff. So I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see.
Me. You got to sell me that
Yeah.
Paul's crying.
I just want to tease it a little bit for you. Let you see it for yourself. You know?
He said Gilda motion. Was Gilda there?
Yeah, she voted for Mike Loughran to be the chair.
Oh,
So right away, right off the bat, they wanted Mike Loughran to be the chair of that, so that, you know, once again. But I'll tell you, there's going to be free speech at that meeting. So at their next meeting, there'll be time to talk, and it'll be in person.
George won't shut him down.
No, he will not shut people down. So if somebody wants to go and talk, you can talk in front of that meeting.
And that'll be at the Peakwood side, John?
Peakwood side, yep.
I think Clyde Ducksworth has to show up.
I don't know who that is. That's not. All right. So
I want Clyde to call in tonight. I should have given him a link.
He did.
No, I know he did. I know he did. I want another call from.
No,
I
I
want
know.
a private one.
You'll get it.
Private to millions of people here. I want to thank you all. Did someone said I cut off, or we cut off Peter? We didn't cut you off, did we, Peter? Some of the comments are no. Anything we missed?
No, I think I had made a comment that in closing that we needed to get the ACLU involved again, maybe, and make sure that we get open meetings. And then I think somebody wrote something in and you did say something afterwards. You said, oh, you're not done yet. But I think you finished that too. So
You're good.
What about the fishing? Peter, when were you going to invite us fishing?
You could have come to the Legacy Place the other day. I had a tight schedule and everything there for you from
Wow.
10 to,
So
10 to
good.
noon.
I didn't get the invite.
Oh,
Oh, you, John. So
thanks, Peter. I know where I stand with Peter in fishing.
Oh, he had a fishing rod. He was fishing Morrison.
Yeah.
And everybody that was in the Sally Port. Oh, wait a minute. They weren't in the Sally Port. That was just an erroneous perception.
So I want to ask you all one more question. Where can people follow you if they want to find you on social media or email contact you? How can people follow? Let's start with Rita Lombardi.
So if people want to email me, they can email me at rita-lombardi@comcast.net, or send me a Facebook message. I do get a lot of friend requests on Facebook, but Facebook has all of my private information in there. So I really haven't had a chance to look at some of the people, and I'm afraid to get trolls in there. So that's why if I don't accept the friend request, it's not anything personal. I have a lot of friend requests, but I'm trying to protect the privacy of my children. So that's what I have. But people can email me or message me through Facebook.
John Como.
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter, and everybody knows it's Dixie. I'm Dixie on there. Last name Normus.
Dixie's Normus. Normus.
MUS. And I'm actually now I'm now on TikTok because
You're on TikTok.
I just started because of Boozy. I had a coworker come in a week or two ago, and he's like, he goes, I opened my TikTok and you were there. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, someone was talking about you. And of course, so I had to start a TikTok account and go see what was going on. So yeah, now I'm on TikTok, but I'm under my name on TikTok. So
we had her on tonight. Did you know that? We had her on tonight. Boozy Beauty.
I caught the end of it. I was driving home. I had to drop off the generator on my way home. So I was watching, and then I made a couple of comments, and that's when everyone's like telling me to jump in. So I hijacked the ending of it on you guys. Sorry. But yeah, so Dixie Normus on Twitter, and myself on Facebook and on TikTok.
Awesome. And Peter, how can people reach out or follow you?
I'd say they're pretty successful at it right now. It seems to be Facebook and Twitter seems to get the job done.
Yeah.
Do you have a Twitter
6 a.m.
handle?
phone and 6 a.m. phone calls if you got his number.
So you're on Facebook under Peter Murphy. Do you have a Twitter handle? Is it Peter Murphy too? Because I haven't seen you on Twitter. I want to know how to find you too.
It's I believe it's at Sergeant Slammer.
At Sergeant Slammer. I love it. That's awesome. That sounds like a wrestling name, like Sergeant Slaughter. At Sergeant Slaughter. Is it SGT? SGT Slaughter? I mean SGT Slammer?
Slammer, like the police slammer.
Yeah. Okay. SGT Slammer.
Yeah.
Look for it. That's awesome. Awesome. I think we got it all in. Again, if people want to submit for the RFP request for proposal, the town of Canton is looking to do a police audit, and Rita definitely wants to try to get more applicants, right, Rita? Give one more pitch on that.
We want to get as many people. Please, everybody, share this. Tell everybody you know, anyone who's in the police audit business, to audit policies and procedures, compliance to policies and procedures. We would love to get a wide variety of RFPs so that we can choose the best candidate.
Excellent. So people can help with that police audit.
Yes.
If you know someone who's a consultant in law enforcement, the town of Canton is looking. They're doing a request for proposal to do the police audit. They're looking to hire basically a contractor, someone with experience to do this audit. It has to be an application, has to be submitted thoroughly, follow all the rules. And Rita wants to increase the applications. The town of Canton needs more applications. So let's get the word out. If we can get a flyer, we'll pass that around. Thank you so much coming on tonight, Rita Lombardi, John Como.
Mike, real quickly, people that are watching, please donate to Mike. And I know Mike, here's the thing. there's a few of you guys that allow us to always come on, and we're doing this, we're doing this because we love our town. Mike has an awesome platform.
Yes.
He's always allowing us on, whether my hijinks, whatever. Even just a couple bucks here and there, please donate. He's not a grifter. I don't care what that whole, the other side wants to say. He's been here a long time. He's been here for us now nonstop, day after day, week after week. So, I mean, $3, $5, $10. I mean, if you were at all entertained tonight, throw him a couple bucks. And I'll take my shirt off
I just
next
got
time.
another
Well said.
Venmo. Thank you, John.
Yeah.
Thank you
Well
so
Well,
much.
no, I mean, it's the truth. I
It
mean,
is-
sometimes we
Help
don't
my
even
grifter.
realize it,
Yeah.
And Mike, we really appreciate you
We
sharing
do.
this platform with us. And
Yep.
for everybody in the audience, just to tag on to what John said, one day you may need this platform. And
Absolutely.
we are in this together. And I am so grateful that I found YouTube.
Absolutely.
I found YouTube a year ago.
Yeah.
I found YouTube and Turtle Boy at the same time because I didn't know about either one really. So, I'm really grateful that we have Mike's station.
Mike
And
gives us a voice.
this
The
because
selectmen
we
don't.
lost without it. So
Yeah.
I'm enormously grateful to you, Mike.
Oh,
Great
thank
job,
you so
Mike.
much.
Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
to
you,
my
Mike.
guests
Thank
tonight. You guys are making me blush. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Rita Lombardi. Thank you, John Como. I want to thank John too again for making the song and the video. People love
Oh,
it.
Oh my God,
yes.
it's
I
amazing.
tried. Thank
Did
you.
you how did you record that? Was that like AI thing? You write it and like how did
So
you?
it's
is that you
all
rap-
right. All right. I'm going to be honest. So it's 4 different apps plus me playing with the word. So I went into the one AI, asked it to write me a song for, and I put in the parameters of what I wanted. It comes back. I put it into my own, my notepad in my phone, and I change a couple of the words here and there. Then I put it into another app to put it for music, and you have to pick like
Wow.
what kind do you like, is it going to be intense and country or intense rap, this and that. And I'm like, I know he likes the rap, so I'll go with rap. And but you have to spit it in and out like 3 or 4 times before you kind of get the one you want, and then like you have to change, right, you have to change certain words because it doesn't like the pronunciation of some of the words, so you change that. And then you take that out of the next app, put it into the app where you can put the video and pictures in. So, I mean, that thing only took me probably like 6-7 hours tops, by
Wow.
the time,
Thank you so
but
much. That's amazing.
yeah,
Awesome.
nothing.
It's so awesome.
but when
So-
you're doing it, you don't even realize how much time is just flying.
Oh, yeah.
You're just sitting there playing with stuff,
All
moving
the
things
time.
around. You don't realize how much time goes by.
There's a lot of time that
But
goes into all
no,
this stuff.
I
Young jerks, you heard.
yeah, well, because you do, you mean a lot to us. You mean a lot to us people from Canton.
Oh, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're so grateful.
Thank you, Mike.
So grateful.
Thank you all. You have a great rest of your week, and we'll be keeping up and seeing what's going on in Canton from here.
All right. Thank you. We'll keep
Thank
you
you.
posted.
Have a
Have a
great
good night,
everyone.
everybody. Take care.
Thank you, Peter Murphy. Thanks, Rita Lombardi. Thanks, John Como. Thank you so much for all of our guests. Boozy Beauty, too. She was great. First time guest. She contributed a lot on Morrissey tonight. I really enjoyed that. We also have some donations that came in. I want to thank our donations tonight. Carolyn sent $20 on the Venmo app. Thank you so much, Caroline. Beverly also sent $20 on the Venmo. She said, thank you for the work you do for truth. Thank you so much. And Caroline gave $20 for coffee. She said, thank you so much, Caroline. Those are the 2 Venmo. Thank you so much. And I'm just going to check the Cash App real quick. I did check it during the show. I want to thank everyone who's been supporting us. You guys make a big difference to this show. I don't know if you heard. Thank you so much, everybody who's been watching and contributing and sharing. Oh my God. Look at this one. Leah sent $50 on Super Chat. She said, John made me do it. Just kidding, Mike. You rock. I enjoy your show, and all of you guests are the best. Thank you so much, Lele. Or is it Leah? I don't ever know how do I say that? I'll figure it out. Thank you so much. That's like very generous of you. Thank you. I'm going to call you LL because I want to make sure I pronounce it right. LL, thank you so much for the $50 tonight. That's huge. I also want to thank Ann Smith for the super sticker. Miss Shorty, thank you for kicking in. She's also a moderator. Thank you so much. Sherry D, thank you. I want to thank our members like Jeannie. Thank you, Jeannie. She just became a member tonight. Another moderator, Stephanie, thank you. And a Miss Shorty again, thank you. RKLR, thank you. Glenn Lake, very awesome. Gifted 10 Young Jerks memberships tonight out to you folks watching. Thank you so much, Glenn. You're a regular listener. I really appreciate you. Also, please pass the pepper. Thank you. You support us too. You share our stuff on Twitter too. I love it. Thank you so much. Also, Dreamer Thinker, a regular supporter and watcher of the show, viewer. Thank you, Dreamer Thinker. I also appreciate Buzzing for Truth. Thank you for the donation tonight. You did a couple donations. Thank you. So, very awesome. And looks like we got a couple more came in. Christy gave $5 just now, a super sticker. Thank you so much, Christy. And Deanna gave $9.99. She said, appreciate you, Mike. Thank you so much, Deanna. I appreciate your donation. That's very kind and generous of you. And it looks like we might have got something else coming. I just want to check real quick here. I don't want to miss anybody. Oh, 1 second. Yes, Jerry. Jerry, thank you so much. Jerry said $5. He said it for a cup of coffee. Thank you so much, Jerry. Very generous of you. Thank you so much. You made me drop my phone. It was well worth it. Awesome. I want to thank our guests again. It was a great show tonight. And here's another donation from Nanny Who, $4.99. Thank you so much. Says you are the best at Mike. Thank you so much. Very much appreciate that. Guys are very supportive tonight. Thank you. We're going to be doing a show on Thursday night, live show at 7 p.m. with Lauren. I want to say her last name right. It's Conlin, I think it is. I think I'm saying that right. Lauren is has like a Twitter or YouTube, Facebook, all that. I think she's on TikTok, Instagram. She covers a lot of true crime. She breaks a lot of news, a lot of stories that she covers. I'm looking to talk to her about something that she's been covering, which is the P. Diddy, Sean Puffy Combs. All these allegations against him. We're probably going to talk about Tupac. I guess they're right. Tupac. We're going to probably talk about Machiavelli and probably Biggie Smalls, Christopher Wallace, Tupac Shakur. Probably talk about it all. Thursday night, 7 p.m. Be here. I don't know what else. I know I'm working on some other things too. We're going to have some other shows coming up. So just make sure you subscribe. If the biggest thing you can do for us tonight, John mentioned supporting us, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube are the big ones. Those are the big three. Make sure you're following us, especially the platforms that you're on. It's very helpful. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're checking it out too. Like a lot of times I do things last minute. So, 6, 7 o'clock, just check it out. See if we're doing something tonight. Sometimes that's the way we roll. I want to thank everybody. Have a great night. We'll see you soon. Mike Crawford, check it out. Thank you guys. Again, I don't know how many times I'm going to say thank you, but there's a reason I do that because I'm really appreciative of what you guys have been doing for us. Have a great night.